Today, President Trump vowed there will be no pause to his wave of global tariffs. Despite the negative impact on the markets and the increasing uncertainty about small and large businesses alike, the president promises his tariff plan will revive America's manufacturing sector. For tonight's interview, we're joined by Josh Bivens, a chief economist at the Economic Policy Institute. Thank you so much for being with us. So give us your assessment of this plan and its stated goal, which is to revive manufacturing in the United States.
I think if that's the stated goal, it's almost surely going to fail. Tariffs can do a lot of things. Tariffs can carve out effective protection and boost production in the U.S. for narrow industrial segments like semiconductors, solar panels, steel. But if they become across the board and they become really high, then the effective protection they're providing starts eroding. It's a little bit like the line from the movie The Incredibles, if everybody is special, nobody is. And so there's a bunch of reasons why the broader tariffs get, the less effective they are. And if you're trying to do a broad goal, like boost all of U.S. manufacturing, they really are the wrong tool for that.
If you were, and you will be, trying to figure out the places one would look to see if the promise, as the Trump administration says it's going to be revealed, is taking place, where would you look to see if manufacturing was picking up in the way they say?
There's a couple things. I mean, in the end, what you really want, or what I would really want, would be increased employment across the board in the entire manufacturing sector of the United States. If that's the goal we're going for, that should be the end goal. Along the way, things before you might see, before actual jobs happen, is increased investment in like manufacturing factories, building new like structures and things like that. And then finally, maybe an increase in the capacity utilization rate of the manufacturing sector. Are there idled factories today that are not running at full capacity that could be pushed up? I think those are the kind of things I'm going to be looking at over the next year or so to see any evidence of success on this.
What did we learn? What do you think we learned from the agricultural sector from the last round of tariffs when in the first Trump term? I
think we learned how limited a tool tariffs can be. I mean, I would say when I think about the first Trump term and the tariffs, the first thing I'd say is they were much more modest. I think it's really underrated what a radical break the tariffs of the past couple of weeks are relative even to the first Trump term. Like 10 times as much value is being covered by these. The levels are much higher. And I think one thing we learned was agricultural exports in the United States are very important for that sector. And those exports fell as tariffs were imposed on other sectors, which is a very predictable thing. And we actually had to spend a lot of money to just hold a lot of farmers constant in the face of that retaliation and lost exports. And that's a real problem with trying to accomplish very broad goals with tariff policies. You're kind of squeezing the balloon one place, but the bubble's just showing up somewhere else. And so it's just really hard to accomplish those broad goals without doing some damage somewhere else.
In about 30 seconds we have left, if you wanted to help manufacturing, what's another way you could go about it?
I mean, the key thing for helping the broad manufacturing sector is reducing our chronic trade deficit. And the key to reducing the chronic trade deficit is getting the value of the dollar to a level that allows our exports to compete in global markets. In order to get that right value of the dollar, you have to do a bunch of macroeconomic policy. You actually have to do some active exchange rate management, but you also have to make sure fiscal deficits don't get out of hand. And that's a real problem with the big tax cuts coming down the road at us.